welcome everyone to the Echoey podcast. Why does this always happen?
I can never hold it.
Somehow it's just weirder now that we're all sat around a table and I can see you psyching yourself up to do it.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my word. It's like the idea of, oh, come on, Alastair, you can do it this time. Come on.
Feel great.
You can do it. Come on, you can do it, man. You can do it.
As you can no doubt tell, listeners, we are coming to you in the same room. We're in a room with with only hard furnishing, so it's going to be a very echoey podcast. We put a tea towel on top of it to stop the echoes.
It's the placebo effect.
And if you let the theatre of your mind trust us on this, it will remove the echoes from the recording.
It's the fact that this is the third attempt we've done for it. It was like normal mic, then we put tea towel over the pop filter on the mic, then we took the pop filter off and put the tilter over it, and we're like, this will work apparently.
That's okay. The two people who are going to listen to this, including us, are going to fucking enjoy it anyway. So yeah,
I like the concept of two people including us, meaning that out of this podcast, either two people of us will listen to it, or only one of us and the guy that also listens to us.
What do you mean? Right now we're just one organism. There is only one mic.
Or alternatively, none of us are going to listen to it, and the guy who listens to it is going to listen to it twice.
And we appreciate that.
And we appreciate him. Hopefully you enjoyed the visual gags I put in the last one. That was
actually very good. I did really enjoy my Metal Gear death.
Yeah, thank you. Also, Robin's actually listened to this one, so there we go. I've got at least one more guaranteed listener.
To be
Hello from the past.
To be fair, the only reason why he listened to it twice is because he accidentally put it on loop.
Well, one fan, yeah.
YouTuberepeat.com.
He put it on loop, walked away to do something, came back and went, it's playing again.
We got 3 views, in which case that's alright. Today is a ramblematic podcast as ever, but as usual we should probably introduce ourselves. I don't know. Who's the order usually in Discord?
I don't know.
I think Hugh's usually.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Shall I? Alright, I'm Hugh. I'm the podcast equivalent of Crash Bandicoot, in that nostalgia makes everyone think that I was really, really good, but I'm actually just a really annoying meme.
I thought it was because you were the Dark Souls of podcasts.
That's I am very, very hard to listen to. The annoying thing is I've had my jokes scooped from underneath me by a better joke.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that was a fucking steal.
You stole my joke.
I did.
Well, you didn't steal my joke, you stole my thunder with a better joke.
I did, and that's because I'm Joe, the podcast equivalent of Ben's shirt. I exist just to annoy Alastair.
For anyone who's wondering, Ben is wearing a Demon Slayer shirt that says "I love my squad" on it, and as we all know, Alistair hates Demon Slayer.
No, I don't hate Demon Slayer. I only hate one of the characters.
I thought you hated both of them. I thought you hated this boy here and this boy here.
I hate half of that shirt.
We are an audio medium, so saying "this boy here" doesn't help.
Yeah, but if it helps for you, is what I've done is I've just rubbed Ben's belly over Zenetsu and the pig boy. I can't remember his name.
Dancing in the Sky.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Was that your favourite anime last year? I can't remember.
No, it was Attack on Titans.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Where's your fucking Colossal Titan shirt? Which is just...
Yeah, but mate,
it's just the face.
What do you mean, who am I?
Yeah,
I'm the baddest motherfucker around. Hello, I'm Lewis. I'm the podcast equivalent of a podcast equivalent opener. I can think of a good joke, and hopefully Joe's now going to save me.
No, nothing.
No, there we go. And like actual real life, nobody comes to help me.
The difference is Joe wants to save me. He doesn't want to save you.
No, that's reasonable. I've done enough to.
I believe in you to be able to save yourself. You're a strong, independent man.
I'm a strong, independent black woman. I don't need no man.
All right, Ben, which joke have you forgotten to think about today?
I'm Ben. I'm the podcast equivalent of. I've got nothing. I was too busy eating a donut.
The
audacity of this motherfucker.
Not only done that, he's also placed the donut box literally directly next to the mic, meaning that if I try and move it, that's going to happen. I'm going to fling that over there.
What?
Donut.
Actually, why? And Alastair.
Yes, I'm Alastair. I'm the podcast equivalent of Gus Sorolla because I start and end the introductions.
Who the fuck is Gus?
That's a nice Rooster Teeth
What
reference.
dish is a Gussarola?
He's a nice Rooster Teeth reference.
Oh, fantastic! I'm glad we all laughed at that reference.
Occasionally. Do roosters even have teeth?
No, they have a beak.
They do.
Don't geese have teeth?
Don't goose have teeth.
Yeah, don't goose have teeth.
Don't goose have tooth. Don't geese have teeth.
I'm pretty sure that geese have teeth, right? They've got the little jaggedy edge bits.
I don't know if I can Google that.
Rooster's directing something else now.
The bird with
new
teeth.
show.
Yeah. Seeing as I was speaking about anime, why don't we talk about fucking Rooster Teeth, a fucking company that can't make an anime to save its fucking life?
Controversial as you can see that hate flame in his eyes.
I mean, the issue is they made 3 seasons of a really, really good show, and then the guy that making it unfortunately passed away, and the people who took over from him aren't good.
I wasn't even talking about Ruby in this instance.
No, they've got a new one.
I was talking about fucking Genlock, which
I mean,
David Tennant.
Oh no, I mean they've got another new one.
Well, they got a new one as well.
I can't remember what it is. I think it's going straight to Netflix, but it's being directed by Rooster Teeth.
The company that picks up the camping show.
Now the problem is, I'm a real massive Rooster Teeth fan, and I like.
And you're wrong.
And I like Ruby, and even I looked at Genlock and didn't even
You
bother.
like Ruby?
I like Ruby.
Oh.
Right. Here's the thing.
Alistair loves Ruby.
I know he does. I've seen the DVDs, but listen, Alastair and I have already come to a fucking agreement about the fact that our tastes are like inconsolable.
Oh, no, absolutely.
You're like this end of the spectrum, and I'm the other end.
We're comfortable with
I like season.
And I'm the equivalent of magenta in the colour spectrum. I don't actually exist. It's just they've made me to fill the gap.
Yeah, you're like maroon.
I like season 1 of Ruby, I like season 2 of Ruby, I like season 3 of Ruby, season 4's awful, season 5's pretty good, and I forgot to watch season 6 and 7.
Okay, just edit your response there, but everything is awful apart from a few fight scenes from season 3, and I really like the food fight scene in season 2.
I've not watched any of it.
I would say it's worth a watch just to see whether or not you like it. If you don't like the first 2 episodes, don't.
Okay, right, I'll be genuine here. The first season for the time actually wasn't that bad. It was nice for a sort of American company with that much money to try and do the startup. I'd much rather it existed than didn't. I'll say that now.
Yeah.
Its animation was
awful.
Yeah, its animation was
Awful.
poor. It was done through motion capture, a lot of the fight scenes. So the fight scenes are really well choreographed. It's just that it's really cheap animation, but it's made on a budget. And that's
Which Monty was always good at.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever see his previous work, Dead Fantasy, before that?
I saw a little bit, but not enough.
Again, excellent choreographed fight scenes. Obviously, was way before he had any traction and stuff, so it looks pretty poor. But I mean, it's just Ninja Gaiden, Kingdom Hearts, and Final Fantasy characters. It's great for me.
I was going to say that sounds like someone has just tailor-made that for you.
Yeah, I mean,
adding some Fire Emblem, and we've got that full.
Basically, and no talking as well. So there was no cringeworthy dialogue. It was just people kicking the shit out of each other.
But what ended up happening was the first one was a little bit Harry Potter in the sense it was a lot of teen drama as well as fight scenes. The fight scenes are pretty good. The main end boss of it is where they fight a giant bird, and I always like to remind myself that giant bird was once a big threat because by season 3 they're fighting an army of thousands of them at the end of the series, and everyone's got cool and killing them in one hit, and it's like
the thing is though, you can almost argue that to be like it's like a boss at the beginning of a Zelda game when it just becomes like
Ganon.
Well,
Breath of the Wild. the first boss is Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, but it's like a boss at the beginning of a Zelda game where then halfway through the game they just kind of turn up as regular enemies. It's kind of just it's a thing.
I think there's easier ways of showing progression than that, but because it felt small and there was actually teamwork involved. Season 2 had a great food fight scene at the beginning of it. I'm not even joking; it's my favourite scenes in anything animated.
I love the train fight at the end of season 2. I think that's exceptional.
Okay, allow me to continue espousing the virtues of the food fight. Was what I was going to say.
Oh,
sorry. Okay.
An excellent recap.
I was saying, Ben, you've had a bit of a break between season 1 and season 2. Okay,
Yeah,
that's fair enough. Yeah, bit of a break between season 1 and season 2, so you need to recap everyone's powers in a school scenario without it being too dangerous. So here's what you fucking do: you get them all to have a food fight together, where they use their special abilities to throw watermelons at each other rather than bullets and things
baguettes.
like that. It's a fucking great fight. It's
legitimately
incredible.
It sounds like one of those that
excellent
sounds
visual
like
gags
it
as
would
well
be,
during the fight.
It sounds like it would be good.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's one of those where I feel I'd look at it and I'd just squint and I'd be like, I hate this.
Yeah, allow me to continue, and then we'll keep the journey going.
Again, I'd still say give it 2 episodes. If you don't like the first 2 episodes,
end of season 2 is pretty alright, and then season 3's got a great fight between Crow and Queen Ice Bitch. I don't remember her fucking name. Who cares? Whatever. It's not alright. Then the series ends up sending from there, and then at that point, Monty unfortunately passed away, and Rooster Teeth as a company had 2 decisions: either respect his artistic integrity and stop there, or make more money. So they spat on the corpse of their friend and made more seasons. Fight me.
Season 4 is pretty damn abysmal.
It's fucking awful.
Season 4 does the major issue where it sits down, right. The end of season 1, 2 and 3 all end with a proper boss fight which actually progresses the story on. The end of season 4 is they fight a random Grim.
It was the Wild Hunt, basically, wasn't it?
It's just a random powerful Grim that they fight, and it's like, okay, well, how's that progressed the story? Well, it kind of hasn't.
It ties up Ren's backstory that we introduced this season and made him voiced by Monty Hume's brother because he didn't want to be voiced.
Yeah, and then you end up with season 5, which actually ends with quite a good fight scene, which again progresses the plot. And we're in season 6 or 7 now. Alistair?
It's 7's just finished.
But
I forgot. I'm halfway through season 6, and I kind of just stopped
I
because it kind of has the issue to me that it very clearly hit like season 4 or 5, and then went, yeah, but now what?
Oh, right,
we need to do more.
yeah.
We now need to do more.
They're changing Monty's mythology. They introduced the fucking seasons which didn't initially exist. The grey eyes thing no longer makes any fucking sense. Semblances now have rules that weren't there before. And the fucking furry people have a whole other dynamic that wasn't there previously, and now some of them are assholes, whereas before they were exclusively maligned people. I genuinely think it is unethical what they have done to Monty's piece of work.
I'm very. It's kind of.
They're doing it to make money.
Well, that's the point.
They have a choice.
When an artist dies, the question becomes: do you push forward and try and finish their vision, or do you just leave it? Because if the vision is unfinished, you can argue ethically that actually saying, right, we're going to finish your vision, we're going to put it together in the best way possible, can still be ethical. But you also have to do it relatively short. Like, I would say maybe a season would be ethical.
Finish that
The moment you've now had more seasons without Monty than with Monty, you realise they're doing it.
It's because they changed his mythology is my issue. It's the fact that, like, they ran out of material and they didn't know where he was going with it. So because they're hacks who can't fucking write, rather than work with what they had, they made up their own mythology because it's all they could think to do. I would at this point bring up Harper Lee, who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird, her only ever book that she wrote. And towards the end of her life, she was filled with Alzheimer's, and at that point her lawyer told her to publish the other book she never wanted to publish, called Ghost Out Watchmen.
Yeah, that was found in like a vault.
In a fucking basement
that she had written before writing To Kill a Mockingbird, and she didn't actually like. She didn't think it was good.
She didn't like it, didn't want to publish it, and then he published it for money because he wanted money and it was unethical to do so. She didn't want to publish it. I think that without getting Monty's consent, it's unethical to continue doing his work. I think it's unethical.
I think again, it depends on the thing. If you want to finish it shortly, I think that's fine.
Oh, finish the season, sure. Like, go until the end of his notes and then write an apology note saying he died. Sorry, it happens. Done.
But the thing is, a lot of people would want to see it continue, and a lot of people would. See
But the general public sucks.
But also a lot of people would see it as an insult not to continue it, because that's almost.
Oh, there's an argument here. Yeah, I'm not saying ethics is more in this show. I'm not saying mine is the absolute argument.
If ethics was a black and white thing, then it would be easy.
It's the point where they ran out of his material, and now they're changing his vision. They're changing what the show's about in order to make money, and that's just it just sits.
Well, you can tell that it was Monty's vision that really helped Ruby shine, considering that Genlock came out. Well, Genlock came out, and Genlock's kind of
was wank.
Relatively considered to be not particularly good.
It's got David Tennant. He's really excellent.
Hasn't it got Michael B. Jordan in it as well? He's the main guy.
Yes. The voice acting is probably one of the few things that save it. The world building is terrible. The animation isn't that great, and the fight scenes are terrible.
As a Rooster fan, I literally never watched it. I think I looked at the advertising and just thought, this does not do it for me just at all.
I watched it mainly because of the voice cast, to be honest.
I
watched all of it because of the voice cast. And to be honest, a lot of the highlights of that is, like, as you say, David Tennant was.
When you want to watch Doctor Who again.
Yeah, it was David Tennant being in it. Also, I think Maisie Williams did a fantastic job as Katie
Maisie
as
Williams
well.
did it.
Yeah, she's. Yeah, she.
I
don't know. I haven't seen it. I knew Tennant was in it.
She's
by proximity.
She's the kind of tech girl with robo bunny ears.
For God's sake, of course.
It's anime.
Right. Can we have another conversation about the fact is why is it whenever America tries to do anime, they turn stuff up to 11, and it just irritates me.
Well, America has done anime. It's called Disney.
Yeah, but what I mean is like whenever they try,
which was good.
Whenever they try and ape anime, whenever it's like, okay, we're going to do something that's based on anime, like Genlock, stuff like that, they turn it up to 11 and they kind of forget it's something. They're just like, oh, everyone loves anime because of the giant mechs and the bunny girls and this, and they kind of don't really realise what makes anime good. They just look at the memes and are like, that's what people like, right?
I'm going to be honest.
That is American TV.
I'm not sure we've seen enough American anime to fucking make a fair judgment, because we saw Cannon Busters. That's an American anime.
Yeah.
By the same guy, we watched Avatar, which I'd argue is also good.
Excellent.
By the same director again, Black Dynamite, which does not follow anime tropes in any fucking way, shape, or form.
Boondock Saints.
Yeah, Boondock Saints again. Probably the only working anime director apart from the Johnny who made Castlevania, which again avoids most anime tropes. I think that I think Rooster Teeth are just hacks. I think that's the conclusion I'm coming to.
I think Alastair has a strong opinion against that.
I think they're untalented bastards who made a really good Halo 1 machinima, and since then have been milking their success for money.
I don't think it's just the anime. I just think it's whenever you see like an anime thing that is made by by America, be it like tea towels or like a picture or anything like that, it's always just turned up to 11. Like it's like whenever you see artists and that's like, I'm part of the anime community and I draw anime art, and it's always just like 7,000 times turned more up than it should be, and you're thinking, it's not every single one of them. Like there are some really nice artists.
Do you want to go grab Sonia Leong's fucking manga art pieces, which is fairly reserved?
No, she's exceptionally good at that because she knows exactly how to use the style without going into the tropes. Whereas I'd argue a lot of people who do art and do that kind of thing, they lean on the tropes because they can't think of a way of doing.
I think we're generalising too much.
I think that's just.
I think we're generalising too much.
I think that just comes from the people asking for their fetish commissions.
Yeah, I was about to say. What fucking degenerates would spend $4,000 on getting a mountain inserted into a dragon's ass?
Exactly. How gaping?
How gaping
is the mountain's ass?
I want to see your interpretation.
Follow your heart.
How gaping is your dragon?
Ooh,
nice.
I like it. There we go.
Nice Dark Souls reference.
More Dark Souls!
When are we going to get a Dark Souls anime?
Right, I'm not even joking, right? Earlier I was thinking about topics for this fucking podcast. I thought to myself, I could make a good discussion. And we've just played a game of tabletop. It was really good. And following tradition, Ben, Alastair, and I plagiarised everything for the contract games.
It was hilarious because it was literally Dark Souls 3. It was good, but it was Dark Souls 3.
There's nothing wrong with plagiarising for tabletop because it's good to take ideas. But then I think to myself, like, okay, so there's all some anime shit going on here because it's contract and we all like fucking anime shit. But I thought, what games would be a good and bad thing to convert to an anime? And I actually thought one of the worst ones you could pick would be Dark Souls.
Out of the series, I'd say Bloodborne would be the best one. You can do shock horror. You can do shock horror with Bloodborne.
You can do shock horror. You can actually do it because Dark Souls 1, entropy, boringness, loneliness, slowness, the death of the universe. Meh. Bloodborne, quick. There's an actual story. You can do visuals, blood, and all that.
Sekiro
could have an OVA. I think that'd be fun.
I think people would jump all over a Dark Souls anime.
They would. No, they absolutely would.
One, because people love Dark Souls and they'll just do whatever.
We don't watch it.
We watch it.
Two, everyone would jump on it being like, is this the new ReZero?
Yeah.
The time come back! Look at this!
See, do you really even think they do that? Yeah, I was going to say.
Sorry, just listen, this might be interesting. We've got the Audacity file open up. You can tell when Ben starts to speak. The fucking amplitude. Fucking my lord.
See, wait, this one, fuckers!
No, we can actually see. There's you laughing, me making a comment, then you clapping the ground and talking again, and it literally follows like an
I think you're right completely that Bloodborne would definitely make the best one because Bloodborne is literally just a good story. Yeah. You have a hunter that gets killed, gets recruited by a doll, and then goes through doing the Bloodborne story.
They don't really get recruited by the doll.
So you found yourselves a hunter, so you don't really get much of a choice.
No, you don't.
The doll's kind of just there because Gurman's done fucking it and.
But I will say, for the entire show, the hunter has to be silent. Like, he should not talk.
Sorry, I'm just on the fucking Gehrman thing as well. Yeah, the Gehrman OVA where it follows the story, and then it's actually the whole Lady Maria backstory, going to the fucking fishing outlet, and the last 5 minutes is just him knobbing the doll.
As 2 years worth of SEMA glopped out.
He's
God sword off!
Wait, no, he eventually gets sick and tired of it being so reactive, so he goes to the insight shop, spends his insight, then just has it.
Oh, God!
That's just Bloodborne joke for you there, an insight joke.
He's crying the entire time, he doesn't want to do it, he's doing it on the perch, you find him outside, he's like, I'm not going to do this inside the house. It's too disgusting.
No, he did do it inside the house, which is why he burns it down.
We cut to a scene of him actually having sex with Maria. It's all very love and tender and everything like that. Then eventually Lawrence fucking taps on the shoulder. Hey, alright, single tear. And the trees were long.
Lawrence is actually in his state as a boss, just like
very beastly.
It's all also half defeated with just lava.
You're right, bro. But like, if they did ever make a Dark Souls, I think they would probably be the same as when Berserk got its second season. Everyone would jump on it immediately, and it would be just pawned off to some shitty company because they knew they wouldn't need to put effort in it.
Oh, well, I can, in my mind's eye, I can see the
shitty
CG hollows now.
Hundreds of them running down the road. We've seen them already. They're an Overlord.
I was going to say, it'd be an entire series of Overlord CG.
No, what I can see is the first scene being like the guy walking into the graveyard and just getting immediately killed by the skeletons, but then respawning, and that'll be the first death.
There's a nice little comic about that actually, where like the guy, where it's a deprived and he gets he absorbs the souls, he gets the memories of the hollows, and it's like that can be a cool way to do it. I do agree in silent protagonist mode, but like it'd be an interesting challenge, but at the same time, it
would not be good.
I think it would be good if it was given a ridiculous budget, because the entire thing would be combat.
It would need to be combat.
The whole thing would be combat.
Yeah, but where are you going to get that ridiculous budget from? Because no animation...
Miyazaki himself.
Yeah, Miyazaki-san himself.
You just need to suck him off.
Yeah. That'd be like a good 100 million.
Oh god.
Well, that's the problem. It's like
I think the only should just be the Asylum Demon smacking Oscar through the roof.
I think they should release an OVA that's just 24 minutes of like the guy looking at the pendant and then like shoving it in every door that he can find. And then just like walking to a boss and just like holding it up and he gets like smacked down.
The guy walking around every door, hitting every wall, looking for invisible.
And then in the end, he just looks at the pendant and just discards it and just like yeets it into the ocean and walks away.
It just turns around and sees the actual door you're supposed to put it in.
Yeah.
Fuck.
No. I can't wait for the Dark Souls 2 one actually. It's pretty decent because they could go to the fucking gender change coffin. Which is quite nice. And,
that's true.
And we could change the gender of our character halfway through the show. I think that's
and then the kinky tree, of course.
Dark Souls 2 would be the worst one, let's be honest.
Well,
the Dark Souls... we've just recently... Like, me and Lewis have just recently played through Dark Souls 2 because I haven't really played through Dark Souls 2 ever. And Lewis going, okay, well, this is how we're going to do Dark Souls 2. And then, like, we're doing this, like, okay, so where are we going to go now? He's like, where do you think we're going to go? Like, I don't know, man. It's like, we're going to go back to this area we visited 8 hours ago to go into this random door. And I'm like, well, how was I supposed to know about that? You're not.
Yeah, just fucking...
Well, you can't make Dark Souls 2 into an anime, because if you did, Disney would phone them up and call them on the plagiarising of Jabba the Hutt.
Oh, that's true. I mean, they already got done for plagiarism once, actually. In one of the first reveal trailers, they had a bunch of lads with like these porcelain masks, which unfortunately were plagiarized from Naruto, and like look identical. Look identical to. So consequently, rather than redesign the fucking mask, they just decapitated all of those enemies, and in game they all have no heads.
Nice.
That's good. I mean, the simplest solutions are the best ones.
Yeah, exactly. That's the Dark Souls 2 mantra. Like fucking.
How are we going to deal with
Artisan
stone?
If you could knock off for lunch, you should. That's the Dark Souls 2.
Where's Miyazaki? He's making Bloodborne. Don't even bother.
Yeah, don't bother
he won't even talk to us. He occasionally throws down an idea. It's like a small note answer to the ceiling, and it just says "flaming demon."
He's busy trying to get revenge on all the animals that have wronged him as a child: dogs, crows, pigs, dog crows, crow dogs.
Pigs with 1,000 eyes.
Yeah, pigs with 1,000 eyes.
Puppets.
Yeah, sock puppets.
But of course, making the hero of the story the one animal which always helped him, the squid.
The squid. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and broccoli. And his
flies, which of course wronged him in a life.
Flies. Where are the flies?
In so Manor, the one outside.
The Bergamot. Yeah,
Bergamot students.
Oh, and rats. Yeah,
rats.
Spiders.
There's
so many animals.
Miyazaki hates
leeches or what? Well, the snake things, obviously.
Oh, and
snakes, of course.
Yeah, I was about to say snakes, and of course the French. The giant fucking boulder guys.
Yeah, they're definitely French.
You heard it first on this anime podcast, guys. Miyazaki hates animals.
Yeah, Miyazaki hates the French.
That's a hot take, isn't it?
I would really like to see the conversation that happened between the guy that probably one guy must have gone in to like the Dark Souls, like they're going through Dark Souls 2, and they're just like, so right, we're in this massive like windmill tower, right? And then we get to the top of this windmill tower, and the elevator goes up. And now we're in a lava place.
Yeah.
It's like, why was it there a guy that literally came in and said, I can fix this, the elevator goes down.
I'm pretty sure you described it to me as being that was the one time the art direction team and the gameplay team just did not communicate.
It's
Not the one time, fucking hell, but yeah, like the most obvious
the biggest one. Yeah.
It's the same guy that I reckon there was just one developer that was just there and they looked at the basic concept work and like, you've got Hyde's Tower off like miles in the distance.
Oh, yeah.
You've got the windmill there and you've got to get to a volcano from it. And he went, fuck it, volcanoes are tall, an elevator will get them to it. And then just looked at the other one and went, oh, that tower's like 7,000 meters that way. I guess I'll walk down a corridor.
Yeah, we'll walk down a corridor and appear, despite the fact that Hyde's Tower of Flame is in the middle of the ocean.
And all the geography doesn't matter, yeah. Sorry, the bottom one, also Northerners and Fort Mighty.
Oh,
there we go,
yeah. I remember reading.
Yeah, we got the big fuzzy dudes too.
I remember reading about Dark Souls kind of maps because there was a guy, or there's a few people that kind of put the maps together for Dark Souls. And to see how they actually like interlink with each other. And Dark Souls 1 and 3 are fine, like they interlink really, really well. Bloodborne interlinks really well. Sekiro interlinks really well.
Geographically, they actually load on.
Yeah, they absolutely do really, really well. Dark Souls 2, there are some areas that are inside each other because they're like it's like going into each other because they just didn't bother.
That's the reason why the first half of Dark Souls 1 is so good, but the second half drops off because they spend so many resources on making loadless screens for geographically accurate areas. Yeah. Because when you see an area in the distance in Dark Souls 1, it is the area. It the longest you can see is when you're in the Tomb of the Giants, you can see Izalith. You can see your bloodstain down in Izalith. There's a little green dot if you die in a spot in Izalith. It's actually there.
That's kind of cool.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, it's like something in the Dark Souls 2 DLC where you can look down, you can see the items at the bottom of the.
It's in the crown of the Sunken King.
Yeah, the Sunken King.
I've recently rewatched Dark and the Black again, which is probably going to be surprising no one, and it's still good.
It's still good. But did you spot any more problems like the not problems, but moments that were really stupid that you didn't think were stupid to begin with?
They're not stupid. They're sweet. Okay. Like,
hey!
Yes.
I'm
currently watching it with someone, and I'm looking forward to having to explain how that sequence made so much sense to me when I watched it the first time. And
I know. And point out the girl is in fact blind.
Yes, and Yin is in fact blind. Yeah, I was going to say, which I'll admit was dumb of me not to notice, but it was the fact that she can see with moonlight, things like that. But no, I've been really enjoying watching that actually. And what?
Never mind, don't worry.
What?
I'm talking about it.
No, you weren't.
He was just offering me a hand job.
I was going to say, if
you're talking to Ben, we'd know.
If you talk to the fucking camera.
I will
the
apologise to anybody using headphones.
This is seeing all of our actions.
We're
That's
sorry.
what the T-Tower does.
Oh, good, the clip.
But no, I recently watched Dark and the Black, and it was really nice to actually see just like quality shows once again.
Speaking of the complete opposite of quality shows, me and Ben watched a really bad show on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I showed you like half a minute of it. So I'll start by saying this. I've noticed that Netflix animes all seem to have a very, very similar thing.
Right, they're the 10th of the price.
They're a 10th of the price. Netflix animes seems to be
CG.
No, yeah, that's the thing. Netflix seems to be really leaning into CG anime. Like
10th of the price.
Yes, it's a 10th of the price, and also Land of the Lustrous did really well. And they were like,
it's not even.
Oh, come on, Amazon, we can do this.
Because before that, they had Knights of Sidonia and they had Arjun. So like they've been with Polygon Pictures.
Neither of those were Netflix anime.
No, but they were streaming on Netflix, and that's the thing. Like they streamed on Netflix, so that they kind of seem to be getting those. But me and you, kind of separately, waiting to talk to you, watched. I can't even remember the name of it. It's about.
I can't remember.
Oh, that's really
helpful.
It sounds smashing. Do you want to get googling?
It's called like Bug Cage Trap Dragonfly Man Thing shit. It's a pilot.
We're back on Dark Souls 2?
Yeah.
Wasn't it Escape from Bug Island?
No,
that's later, Alastair.
It is called Cage Aster of an Insect Cage.
Yeah, that's it.
It's
a CG anime
where
which
humans have become bugs and they're to fight now.
Humans become bugs due to a genetic manipulation because some fucker, probably the same guy that wrote Elves, decided, oh my god, this is the future race. This is the race that all humans should become. Why don't people?
It's a good one.
Why don't people become bugs?
It's fine.
So
it's awful.
People become bugs, and if you get infected, then you get burnt to death. And there's these people that specialise in killing the infected.
This sounds like Carbonara the Iron Fortress with more.
And then there's some.
How far did you get through it?
I got like 2 episodes.
You got significantly further than me. I got 5 minutes in and decided this was not worth my time because it looks awful. The story is just non-existent. Like you know the first 5 minutes of an anime is supposed to completely and totally grip you, like either interest you with the story or have a really cool action set piece, something to make you want to watch it. The fact that the first 5 minutes of
they
this
circle around a priest.
I was thinking that exact thing!
That's interesting. It's developing the plot.
It's the birth scene. It's fucking. It's when Elise was born.
It's developing the
family man.
Whereas this one starts with really bad CGI jeeps fighting really bad CGI dragonflies. It's just awful. And I got
EDF.
I think it's the quickest I've ever just gone. Nah, I'm done. It was 5 minutes in, and I was just like, no, this is not going to be good. Like I know it's not going to be good. I'm leaving, and it's not even like it wasn't even like funny bad in the first 5 minutes. Like me and Lewis watched Darwin's Game, which we'll talk about more next podcast, which at times was funny bad. But
0 out of 10.
This was just bad. It just was
0.
It was boring.
It's boring.
I would
it's
absolutely
dull.
watch an EDF anime though.
EDF
completely with the actual cast.
EDF already is an anime.
No. Keep going.
I wanted to hear what you said.
Yeah, keep going.
I'm sorry, that's not what I was going to say now.
It's pretty bad, but no, like I've noticed that, like you've said, it's 10 for the price for CG anime, and so Netflix are just kind of crapping out really bad CG anime recently, and I don't know how long that's going to last because my god, are some stinkers coming out.
Here's the business model, okay, all right. So Netflix, okay, you've got so it's about $2 million per anime episode for a normal anime, right? Okay.
Something along those lines.
Yeah, right. So Netflix, you've got to put out 12 episodes of 24, and we'll say you've got to put out 10 anime a year, okay? The animated song's got
240 million.
So 240 million, okay? So here's your options, okay? Either A, you make 10 normal anime, which are fairly average, or B, you make 9 anime, which cost, an equivalent of 2.4 million, and then you spend the remaining 200 mil on Devilman.
I think the problem is, Devilman came out 2 years ago, and can you name me a single Netflix anime since then which has even gotten close?
No, but
to
I think
Devilman?
that has to be the model because
if it is the model,
something
we should
probably
have.
gets the budget.
Well, the problem is, if that was the model, we should have seen something that's on Devilman's level, and we haven't.
What they care about is eyeballs per dollar, and clearly this is working. Otherwise, they'd stop. I mean, High Score Girl had that fucking style. And
High School Girl.
That was one of your favourites last year. You swore by that.
High School Girl.
Baki, Kengan Ashura.
Well, High School Girl wasn't a Netflix show. High School Girl was. We got to talk about the difference. There's a difference between a show that Netflix has a license to stream and a show that is only on Netflix. But the High School Girl was on TV first.
But Lewis's model still applies in the fact that they chuck out the money on the shit ones, and then they either make or buy the license to the big ones. The model still works.
Then the fact they managed to get licenses to the they managed to do really, really well and get the license to Seven Deadly Sins for the first 2 seasons, and then the third season, which I'm not watching yet, but I'm looking forward to watching when it comes on Netflix. Because apparently
dies.
Garbage.
Yeah. That's what the horrible animation.
Yeah. Apparently it's just garbage. I don't know if it's the same studio, if they outsourced it. All I know is the budget just. Something happened, it's garbage now.
The meme with the main character just headshot the dad is still my favourite.
Well, there's the Iskandar fight, which is apparently supposed to be one of those ones was like it was the hypest fight in the manga, and it's apparently awful. As I said,
Iskandar. You said Iskandar.
Iskandar. I do apologise.
Yeah, where
different buff man.
Yeah, I was about to say we get mean to death by Gilgamesh again, but
I do apologise.
But yeah, I mean, they'd stop if it wasn't working. I think their model must be working.
Either that, or you're only 2 years in. Maybe they might be about to hit a point in the next year or so where they start to realise, this isn't
when
working.
they reach.
I agree that maybe, or it might happen in the next 2 days, or they might be a great success.
I suppose the issue is that things don't have to be good for people to view them. They just have to be there.
That's a fundamental law of capitalism.
Another Netflix example is Bright. Bright wasn't a good movie, but it was the most.
We really enjoyed Bright.
Yeah, I hated Bright. I thought the world building was absolutely garbage, and I hated the story. And that was the most watched thing on Netflix. I'm pretty sure. And it's because it was front and center. It was big budget. It had Will Smith.
No, it's because it was Shadowrun, mate. It was brilliant. It was a day in the life of a Shadowrun cop, and we loved it.
We enjoyed that.
In the meantime, speaking of other trash we've watched.
Oh god. Oh. Can we not? I haven't watched it. I've just read it. Can we not?
I can't believe you read it.
We are an audio medium. Explain the show.
Oh, you've got to build up anticipation, Lewis. You can't just yell at the viewer what we're talking about. You've got to tick on the balls a little bit.
Every week.
Island of Giant Insects.
Okay, is this another insect?
It's an OVA.
What's with the insects reason?
I don't know. It's an OVA one, but it's based on a manga. Now, I've read the manga because people were like, this manga's a bit weird, you should probably read it. And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I was reading it, this is done. I stopped reading when the first insect rape turned up.
It's
Well, the insect gets raped, the insect rapes.
The insect rapes,
Yeah.
and it's hateful, and I was like, oh
it's
yeah,
awful.
no.
It's actual trash, and it has shitty CGI giant insects, and on Crunchyroll it was like, oh, a new episode came out of this, and people were memeing about it on Reddit, and I was like, alright, why the fuck are they memeing about this on Reddit? Because the latest episode of it, episode in quotation marks, that was released, is literally a cutout from the initial movie that is just an uncensored version of the insect sex bits.
I hate it.
And it's just a straight 24 minutes of uncomfortable nipples.
Was it called?
It's someone's
uncomfortable.
I was uncomfortable!
Why did you watch it?
Because it's on! I was like, what the fuck is this? How bad can it get?
Did you watch the entire? Did you?
No. The movie I then skipped through by literally doing the right button, the right
Plus 5
arrow on the
seconds.
spot. Every 5 seconds, seeing what's going on and being like, trying to gather what's going on in the show.
No.
And I'm just like, this is awful. It's just trash.
You watched that the
it's
same.
so shit.
You watched that the same way my mother watched Game of Thrones. I'm not even joking. I love Game of Thrones, and I'm like, how have you watched all of Game of Thrones in like a week? She's like, I skipped through the talky bits.
But
And I'm like,
Not like all of it.
yeah, I know.
That's what like 6-year-old me did with watching The Lord of the Rings back in the day when I just wanted to see the fight scenes.
Yeah, but it's just brilliant because she now claims that she really likes it and is now rewatching it, and I'm like, please tell me you're rewatching it properly. And she's like, no, I'm still skipping. I'm like, God damn it.
Is it sad that I used to love Titanic but only skipped to the bit where they started drowning to death?
Yes. I'll be honest with you.
Yes, that's very weird.
I'll be honest with you, mate. I thought you were going to say the bit where they were in the car together.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
No, I literally skipped every single time I watched that. I skipped to the point where they hit the iceberg.
To be fair,
The rest of it's foreplay. Like,
that's the only bit that's
interesting. Who gives a fuck?
To be fair, it is like at the start of King Kong. Every time I skip till they're on the boat going to the island because I don't want. I don't want to watch an hour of him gambling.
I want to see melodrama with these interesting characters. I want to get to the giant monkey.
Where's my monkeys?
Once again, how have we gone back to a thing with giant insects?
I don't know.
I did King Kong joke earlier.
The point I wanted
So
to
that's
make.
fallback. There we go.
The point I wanted to make from that show is basically what is this weird obsession with having to make things like that bit too far dark and edgy? Why couldn't you have
It stands out.
man-eating monsters on an island? Like giant insects is enough because insects are creepy as fuck and the worst things to exist.
Because that doesn't stand out.
But
it doesn't stand out because the problem is anime and TV and films these days are so turned up. These days.
Shut up! Oh, calm down, man. Sorry, we can't have Citizen Kane anymore.
Shut up.
Back in my day, we had 3 shows. There was Gundam, Pokemon,
And Dragon Ball! And in that Dragon Ball, it was back when they only did the martial arts fighting and not this world-ending universe crap.
Kids these days, they like using key. Every show has to be boom, win, was out. There's no such thing as just a show where people talk to anymore. Everyone can sing, they can dance, and everyone have polio.
But the thing is, everything's
Can't wait
turned
to
up.
be next up for Frankie Boyle.
Yeah, there we go.
Everything's turned up, which means that in order to do something...
Let me literally said the entire American anime industry is all over exploitation. Okay, these guys aren't. Okay, all shows these days
Let's
BuzzFeed headline. All shows these days are all turned up to 11.
There's the title, 11 shows that turned it up to 11.
We're just more aware of this.
Yeah, okay, but
Like,
what I mean is like...
Serial Experiments Lane had fucking fucked up shit going on in it.
that's an amazing show.
And it is, but it had fucked up shit going on.
It's psychologically scarring.
But what I mean is we've got so... Right, I'll restate the point in a different way then. There's so much film, anime, TV, and it's all done so many of these different things. We've seen...
That was not rephrased. That's the same point. Continue.
I mean, it was rephrased for that. But we've seen a lot of these things before. We've seen giant mechs. We've seen giant monsters. We've seen this, that, the other. We've seen it all. So in order for a show to try and stand out, it's got to do something edgy sometimes, or at least a bad show needs to do it because they can't stand out on its own merits.
So
if it knows it's bad, it's got to be like, here's something really over the top,
but it
in order to make it do it.
It feels like
that's always been the case.
It feels like it gets
these days. That's always been the case.
It feels like it gets
reworded about the these days. Do continue.
It feels like it just gets put into any show. Even good showers will then turn around and go, "Oh, you're right. This heartwarming character drama that's really interesting. I care about the characters and stuff. Isn't good enough. I've got to make one of them die."
Oh man, we've been playing so many visual novels because my immediate thought was, well, no, my thought was with visual novels is sort of like there's always been, man, things get a bit boring. Sex scene doesn't fit, but just sex scene. Do it now.
Gotta sell it in Japan.
Just sex scene. Do it
The
now.
quite literal fuck it. Let's go.
Yeah, fuck it.
To be fair, Goblin Slayer did it a little bit, and with the you interested yet? Yep, Goblin Rape. There you go.
I think that was just a setup of. See, once again, is that going?
That is the sense of the entire show.
That's the setup of the whole show, and the thing is that like.
Don't deviate.
That's also another weird point because like. The insect one, 100%. I'm like, this is taking it too far. Yeah, I loved Goblin Slayer. What's actually the difference?
Goblin Slayer is good
because they don't actually show all of it in Goblin Slayer, and it gets stopped.
I don't think they show it in the insect one. From the 5 seconds I skipped through constantly, I couldn't tell you.
Sorry, I thought you said that was the whole point. Was it was just the uncensored scene?
The uncensored one showed boobis.
Okay.
But
mate, as ever, it's the shit with like offensive humour. Like, what's the difference between good and bad offensive humour?
When it's funny.
It's when it's funny. It's just execution.
Yeah. Why is Frankie Ball why is everyone fine completely with Frankie Ball? Yet when PewDiePie puts up a kill all Jew sign, why is that not funny? Because it's not
execution.
Because it's not executed well.
Yeah.
And that's the point. Like the reason why we get annoyed at the reason why we don't get annoyed at Goblin Slayer, but we do get annoyed at Island of the Giant Insects is because Island of the Giant Insects isn't executed well. It's just bad. It's got bad characters, it's got bad CGI, it's got a particularly weak story, which means that when they turn up with the over-the-top edgy stuff, we're not willing to hear it out, we just get annoyed at it. Over Goblin Slayer, up until that point, we're already a bit engaged, and then after that point, we're engaged.
Also, it does seem to me that the edgy shock stuff is always when a show is just trying to cash in some goodwill because they ran out of ideas for something.
But then what about something like Devilman? Which I'd argue the violence is so integral, and the sexual violence is so integral.
It's not out of nowhere.
It's execution. It's executed really well because the first 20 minutes of that episode of Devilman is executed perfectly. So when it does go into the ultra sex and ultra violence, it works because it's not even cashing in goodwill because like it's literally going, you've got goodwill for us. Can you also allow this with it? And you're not even cashing it in. It's just like we're just going to extend that goodwill to something that's now sex and violence.
And that show straight up has a rape scene in it. Like it just shows it. Like it's when the runner. She literally gets held at gunpoint to have sex with a man, then she fucking kills him.
I don't remember this.
I'll fucking I won't post a link or whatever, obviously, but yeah. Now there's a bit where she's held at gunpoint and then she ends up having sex with him and then kills him and then keeps going.
It's when she actually turns into a demon proper for the first time.
When she's a demon.
Yeah, but
the other Miki.
Yeah. I thought she still wanted to do that because she was all demon messed up for.
She was getting
there. She was held at gunpoint to have sex with someone.
I genuinely don't remember the scene properly. That makes me think I need to rewatch Devilman, which is
giving me an excuse to do that.
You should have given me an excuse to rewatch Devilman.
I will admit, after the fucking end of year podcast, I've come to my senses and Devilman is now cemented as number 5 on the list.
I want to rewatch Devilman. I think there's a lot. I think the problem is I've got to a point where every time someone mentions a good show, my brain goes, I want to rewatch that now. And so I've got like 7 different shows I'm currently rewatching, and it's like sit down, look at TV, go, what am I in the mood for? Ultra violence, comedy, slice of life, romance. Which one of the 8 things I'm rewatching am I going to watch today?
I still rewatch Phase Zero every year, and Devilman is probably every other year right now.
Yeah, I still need to watch some new shows. I mean to watch like Legend of the Galactic Heroes, but most of the shows that I want to watch now are original.
The problem is that's so
it's 110 episodes.
And also
that's fine for me.
Lewis, the thing is, once you watch that, you'll ascend.
Apparently everyone that has ever watched that just sort of transcends to some level of anime knowledge of just like, I have now seen peak performance.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean? There's no political and military tactics going on in my anime space?
Garbage.
Show? It's garbage.
Can we talk about?
That's probably the most dangerous thing that could happen to me if my standards got even higher.
Yeah.
That's the most dangerous.
Because we can't let you watch it ever.
It's going to be like eating the perfect food and you can never taste anything ever again.
You're like Marshall from How I Met Your Mother and the Burger.
Yes.
I don't understand that.
Can we talk quickly about the idea of kind of things being considered the best and how my anime list had to really deal with just an overview of reviews because Interspecies Reviewers hit number 2 on the best anime of all time list. And at which point my anime list went, oh my god, we're going to have to deal with this.
I have since watched it on your recommendation list. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it goes for it. It's just hentai.
I was reading up on this because people were like spamming it with 10 out of 10 reviews.
Also,
and
really
good opening.
The way they've decided to do it is they've decided to anyone that gives it a 10 out of 10, they just remove the 10 out of 10 out of 10. So now they're just spamming 6s.
6s.
I don't know why it's 6s, but now if you look on them, they just spam 6s.
Maybe explain Number of the Beast or something like that.
I think it's more just down to kind of just spam.
Or just what? But it's
a
funny, consensual hentai show. It's what's not to love.
Can I be honest with you? It took me until like 2 days ago when I was looking at the channel and I finally got the hen tie reference of the hen in the tie.
Yeah, I'd say.
I only just got that. I'll be
Fuck
honest.
hell, man! Come on, you gotta do this.
I'm an idiot. Come on, you know me.
It's nice. It's titillating. You're allowed that every now and then. So, and I like it.
Would you prefer the Digimon one where it's just a hen on top of Ty's head?
That's pretty funny.
Oh, that's also quite good. I think I would have got Pete would have enjoyed that joke and no one else because nobody watches Digimon.
We'll say the games are really good.
I didn't know
I'd ever watched Digimon properly. The games are really good.
It's a really good thing.
Isn't Digimon getting a new anime series, not an actual OVA? Because like the Tries were an OVA series, weren't they? Isn't it getting an actual proper new anime series with the original?
I think so. It's a complete restart.
Yeah, I was going to say that because apparently Try managed to make enough money to just do it.
Who's it being marketed towards?
I don't know. Children, I assume.
It's still going as a kids show. I'd say it's still going as a kids show. The games are still. I mean, they're kind of Persona-ish at this point. Persona, Pokemon. Well, I mean, more Pokemon, but
which came first, Pokemon or Digimon?
Pokemon, I think.
I'm fairly sure.
I don't actually quite remember that. I don't know. I just like how
Pokemon's 1991. I want to say.
I always liked how with Pokemon here, they always had to edit designs to make them not violent. Digimon, here's a gun with a gun. Yeah. That's what we're
because it's a bunch of insects that play with each other.
My favourite thing about Digimon as a concept is the fact that they can go back to their previous evolutions. In Pokemon, it's fixed. No, in Digimon, sometimes you want to be the 20-foot beautiful angel, and other times you just want to be a cute little bird.
Fair enough.
Pokemon came out in 1996. The original Digimon came out in 1997. So it's only 1 year afterwards.
Not far behind.
It's plagiarising, but it's only very minor plagiarising.
Oh, it's fine.
Well, it's Pocket Monsters and Digital Monsters, and it's like
again.
Digimon had a killer opening thing. I'll give them that.
Digimon,
Digital Monsters, Digimon are the champions. Weirdly, I will say this completely unironically. You know the Digimon movie.
Which one? Yeah. One of those 3 movies, or the
the three episodes movie of Digimon, which I bought when I was a kid, and I still have on VHS.
Brilliant.
Genuinely,
terrible.
Brilliant. In the English dub, actually one of the hypest I've ever been as a kid, and even now.
Smash starts.
No, it's not even the Smash Brother. That's funny.
It's got a killer fucking sound. Of the cheesiest songs from the entire period.
It's the early 2000s, the anime.
Yeah.
There's a bit right at the beginning where I think it's literally Parrotmon, where it's like the giant parrot comes down and Greymon and him are like giant and fighting in the city. But like as Greymon evolves into Greymon, it's like, are you okay? I'm Greymon now. You could be whoever you want, big guy. At which point the English theme starts, and it's actually really fun. I'm like, oh my, this is actually really, really hard.
Oh my! Is that
that 4-year-old Hugh?
Was that 4-year-old Hugh reacted to like Pikachu talking for the first time?
Oh my god!
I was Pikachu.
I was not in the cinema for that, but there's a video of
where the guy's recording it and the whole cinema just goes into laughing.
No, it's like the
guy says what and everyone starts laughing.
No, I mean, the one I've seen is the one where it's just like, Pikachu, you can be, and the Otari's go, what? And like, everyone just gets really confused for a second. Oh my god, have we seen the new Pokemon anime film that's being released on Netflix? They're remaking the original Pokemon movie,
the original
entirely in CG.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Money.
The thing is though, Mewtwo looks really cool in it because Mewtwo's design kind of allows you to do it in CG. The moment you look at Ash and all of the characters, oh my!
When did Pikachu talk? What was this?
This was in the last Pokemon movie, which is the Power of Two or something like that.
Yeah,
no, the Power of Two is the Power of Two is the.
Is this like set in like season 1 or is this like modern?
I don't know, but anyway, it's one of the it's like the Power of. I think it might literally be called the Power of.
I
think it's literally called.
Meowth can talk. Nicolas Cage, Slowking can talk.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage. This is the first time.
Okay. Pokemon movie 2000. The Slowking sounds exactly like Nicolas Cage.
Is it actually Nicolas Cage?
No,
it just sounds like.
He just sounds like it.
Lugia
Oh,
I think it's because Pokemon's. I think it's because it's Pokemon.
Legendaries tend to be.
It's Pokemon. It's either I Choose You or The Power of Us. I think it was I Choose You.
Yeah, I Choose You was.
Because I Choose You is the. I think I Choose You is like an alternate timeline where it's like it's the beginning of the Pokemon.
So, but it is the beginning.
It is at the beginning.
It's the same bit where they pulled the whole "oh no, Pikachu died and turned to stone" sort of thing.
Oh, that was in the original Pokemon movie.
Yeah, and it's that exact same moment, but in this one instead, Ash is they're like losing, and Pikachu's just like
because they got a love shape.
And it is literally that sort of baby voice of just like it's because.
This is a bit odd.
I think right. How do we feel about how do we feel about Rep? Yeah, but you're fine with it, but. The fact that we've never heard Pikachu talk at all, and then 20 years later suddenly we've got him talking, like that's just retconning, right? That's just like.
I mean, there was that one episode of the Island of Giant Pokemon where they subtitled all of the Pokemon because they had no trailers in that episode.
That's pretty funny.
That's kind of cool.
Entirely subtitled, just all of the cruise Pokemon and Ash's, and Team Rocket's Pokemon, and they just go to a noodle bar at some point because they think they've been abandoned. It's just, I think it's literally just a slow-mo just serving ramen noodles, so they're just sat there depressed.
This is fucking surreal.
The question becomes, if that was a 4Kids anime, what would the noodles be? Would it be like, 7 and burgers or something?
No, pasta. It would be
pasta. It would be pasta.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this was Gen 1. Like,
how do I feel about retconning? I mean, you probably shouldn't fucking mill your property for money anyway, but like,
it still makes a huge amount of money, and the Pokemon moves apparently aren't bad.
No, my point is, if you are going to go, let's go for an alternate timeline. Oh fuck it, just go for it. I mean,
as in just like full on do it.
Well, or would you rather they just remade it and did the same shot for shot? Nah, fuck it, retcon everything that you want. Like, it's
I'd say go
nuts. It's alternate universe.
Do the remake and do the actual Pokemon manga where it's fucking violent and I love it.
Yeah, just do that. Like
it's not the original Pokemon.
It's not the original Pokemon. It's a different version.
Yeah, the current Pokemon manga is
fucking violent. It's brilliant.
Finding my way to shoehorn Kogeese into everything possible. They've recently done the fucking Lucia Resurrection, which I still need to fucking watch.
We need to watch that together.
We will. And like, Lucia Resurrection set alternate timeline. Do I want them to just redo Code Geass season 1? Nah, I've got that on Blu-ray. Like, fuck it. No, I want them to go fucking crazy with it. What if Suzaku was a fucking elephant? I don't care. Like, just fucking do it. That'd be great.
Show me something new and different.
It shows what happens if Shirley was a nightmare frame? Great, do it. Like,
well,
that'd be great.
Isn't that literally just again shilling for more money?
You shouldn't do it.
But if you're going to do it.
If you are going to shill this for money anyway, because the only reason you shill this for money is because it's on name recognition. Okay, so like people are going to come and see this, probably no matter how good or bad it is, as long as it's not atrociously awful. So we're just going to mill us for money. Fuck it, take a risk. Why not? Just do it. What happens if Alucia's mum was his dad? Just do it.
It's the real life. It's the anime equivalent of. It's the equivalent of if you got your friend who's like, I'm gonna jump off this 4-meter wall. And you're like, don't jump off the 4-meter wall. I'm gonna do it regardless of what you say. All right, cool. Wait and let me film it. Yeah, like if you're gonna do it anyway, I might as well get the most out of it.
If we're engaging this bad idea, fuck it, go for it. Just have as much fun with it as you conceivably can. That's where I'm at.
Okay, genuine question then. Since we're talking about kind of remaking and redoing old shows.
When's the second Death Note movie?
Yeah, number one, when's the second Death Note movie coming out? Number 2, if you could pick an old anime for them to remake, which would you pick?
Cookie-Us again.
Genuinely, if you could like, okay, you have free range. You can have an old anime. It can be old as in like 2 or 3 years old. Just give it another go, or it can be like an old one. Where like, I just want this remake. Well, what would you pick? Because we're getting more of them now. We've got Cookie-Us, Fruit Basket.
Here's my top 5 anime. Devilman, that is a remake. Yep. Cookie-Us. that's a remake. Evangelion rebuild movies.
Yeah.
So that leaves
Which that's what I'm saying.
So that leaves with Phase Zero essentially perfect, or Darker Than Black also essentially perfect. So I don't know, just like.
Well, the thing is, because it was something I was thinking about earlier. I was just kind of like, because I haven't noticed that this is happening a lot now. It's just like, what would I said nowadays again, didn't I?
Yeah.
I've bought a house and look what's happened to me.
Yeah, you
Oh yeah, just drop that in the fact you're doing so much better than all of us.
Sorry, can we remove that from the podcast? We don't want.
We can't let
don't want people to know
Yeah,
that.
we can't let people know that Hugh has living conditions.
No, we're not allowed to do it.
He must be the international man of mystery.
No, absolutely. I actually live in Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo. That's
in the back of my DB5 because I spent all my money on a DB5.
That's fucking expensive, man. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, I don't actually live. I don't rent in Monte Carlo. Again, I bought the DB5.
Why did you
I don't know.
into this analogy? What the fuck?
I don't know. He's really just going for it.
I am just completely fair going for it.
But I mean, I guess I picked like Darker Than Black season 2 because I quite like a decent.
So you just want them to make a season 2 of Darker Than Black? Yeah. You just want them to make a season 2.
A good season 2.
No, just want them to make a season 2.
Same story.
No, that's why it's a remake. I just want to go fucking crazy with it. Like fucking, just like, but it could be fun this time rather than.
Instead of hobo lolicon. K.
Yes, but let's say Hobo Hey who beats up women. Like fucking, I don't want to watch that. Like, Darker Black
I would
season 2.
love to see an Ippo remake.
Oh, Hajime no Ippo. It's like a proper Hajime no Ippo.
I would love to see that.
Are they still making that at the moment?
Kind of. It's like the manga's
So who would it
finished.
make? It's Ken Kanashiro.
The manga's finished, but they could easily pick up more episodes. I don't think there's more being released.
Did it get over 1,000 chapters eventually?
It got over 1,000. Yeah, it's like one of the longest running mangas in existence.
Well done to them.
But then
They don't need your pitch.
I would genuinely love to see a remake of, in modern day school setting, Great Teacher.
That's what, weirdly, that was the exact answer I was actually going to give, which is I want to see a GTO remake.
Yeah.
Like,
that'd be good.
I've been rewatching GTO recently because I've apparently decided to rewatch everything I really, really like. With the exception of like the first 3 episodes of GTO, which are just a bit weird and have like a weird premise because he's being in teaching.
Oh, because you get that weird pervy.
Well, he's going into teaching because he wants to sleep with high school girls. But then within like 3 or 4 episodes, he's like, oh, I'm actually pretty good at this. All right, cool. I'm going to drop that concept and just be a good teacher. And I'm like, from that point onwards, it's one of the best shows I've ever watched. And I'm with you. I'd love to see that in normal day. Yeah. Like I didn't even think about it.
It's immediately fired within those first 3 episodes.
Yeah, you get me, sir. Oops, your DBS certificate. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Can't wait for the Ofsted inspection.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
Oh, my place will be getting Ofsteded soon. Actually, we've got into
Yeah.
also,
oh no, they can narrow it down based on the timeline of release.
Sorry, can we
Let's show that Lewis doesn't work.
No, can we delete the fact that I've also been called Lewis this entire time?
Yeah. Shit.
I'd like to be called Raphael
Mystery Teacher X.
Mystery Teacher X. MTX. I'll take that.
I would
Mysterious.
like to point out that Hajime no Ippo is the 8th longest running manga of all time. And it's still going.
I want to see
Is it still not?
again.
Yeah. It was supposed to end.
It's still going.
It's okay, no, don't worry. Sorry, no, it's fine. It was really important what you were talking about.
Yeah, it was.
No, continue, finish.
Yeah, it was. Do you want to know what the manga with the most
No, I don't.
readers is?
He's still talking.
I
don't want to know.
Yes.
It's Golgo 13 about an assassin, and no one outside of Japan has ever heard of it. Literally, it's called Golgo 13. It's about an assassin. It's been running since 1968. It is both the longest. It's one of the longest running manga, and it's the highest grossing. Like it's sold the most by just a significant amount.
How does that not get traction anymore?
Probably because it's been running for so long.
I don't know really.
I
suppose it's too much effort to localize it at this point.
Yeah, it's not only the oldest manga it's not only the oldest, but it's also the second or third biggest.
This podcast is actually transcended. We're now talking about something nobody has ever heard of.
Yeah. Oh, it's
you could be making this up.
I'm not.
No. Have you ever seen this manga? Has anyone listening to this ever seen this manga? Apparently not.
I just edited the wiki page before you got on it.
No, Ben, you made the wiki page, and you came up with 40 years worth of chapter titles.
Oh yeah, I put in the effort.
We can't corroborate this.
I will.
We've transcended.
I will apologise.
We're now talking shite.
I gave false information there. It is either the second or third.
I gave false information there. It actually doesn't exist.
It was Ben.
It's either the second or third highest selling manga of all time. It's either sold more.
Wait, what did you just say? It was second. That was second or third.
No. Because what it is Dragon Ball has either sold 250 or 300 million. It's between that. It sold 200.
Wait. Where did the 50 million copies go? Did they?
I don't know. I don't know.
They were the international copies and the liner sank.
That's 50 million books.
The highest selling is One Piece. I do apologize. Golgo 13 is the longest running. It is 1968 and it's still going today.
Okay, so how many?
53 years.
So where is it in terms of how many have been bought?
It's either the second or the third, depending on how many Dragon Ball is filmed.
It
has the third highest number of volumes behind.
Oh my god!
I can't believe Grassley. This is a podcast.
We're just reading Wikipedia articles.
Wikipedia. None of us have seen this or know about it. Why are we talking about it?
I went to a really good exhibition that was about a very specific.
No, you didn't. It's also a lie.
You Mr.
Fucking check.
On the next podcast, Hugh is replaced by Wikipedia.
Yeah. On the next podcast, we just make up anime.
I love Darker Than White.
It's brighter than white.
I'm pretty sure it's 50 Shades Darker.
Yeah, there we go.
It's brighter than white. Like
there is a valid point that can be made from these things.
Which is that I don't know what I'm talking about, but I occasionally
On this
two valid points then.
On this next edition, I discuss lore for a game I've not released and expect you all to follow along.
You can look this up. I've given you the name.
So can they!
Golgo 13.
Like,
Fuck!
It still raises an interesting thing.
No,
about
it's
Continue.
how something gets so popular in Japan in a medium that's breaking out so heavily outside, but is still totally inaccessible outside of there. So like it gets barely any traction.
Yeah.
And one of the same things in the comparison, and I know people kick me for not shutting up about it over the past month or whatnot, but Lupin had the same thing.
Yeah.
It has no traction in the West. Like it's barely heard of, but it's super popular in Japan.
It's because the main character's French.
Yeah, but if you look at all the other highest selling mangas, every single one of them is big in the West. One Piece, Naruto, Dragon Ball, they're all up there.
Yeah, they've all
hit the West.
Which also gives them more money, which is why they're higher on the money list.
Just a quick one in terms of culture shock, mind you. Okay, say I want to read One Piece. How old is One Piece? What, maybe 50 years?
I think One Piece started going when Volume 5 of JoJo was coming out, so I believe it's in the mid-90s, I believe.
Okay, right, sure.
Volume 5 as in part 5, not Volume 5.
Okay, sure. Right, mid-90s, whatever. Okay, so most of us can actually get with that. Okay, all right. So we want to watch this. We want to watch some stuff from the 90s or read some stuff. Yeah, we're on the same page then. Same with Naruto.
We were literally born in that period. It was on TV.
I want
1997.
Okay, nice. So yeah, late 90s. Okay, so
it's also going to Crunchyroll in the UK, by the way.
Final Fantasy 7, yeah.
But my point is, like, okay, I want to read about this really popular manga. Okay, I've got to read a manga issue that's 52 years old. Now the drawing's probably not going to be as good. The storyline's probably not going to be as good because they've probably been done it before. Because it's probably been copied. Something happened with Devilman, where Devilman's story is now really hackneyed because it set them. It made the standard.
Well, it's like Volume 1, 2, and 3 of JoJo, where it's like at the end of the day, it's pretty.
And it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of the reason Lupin also does that much traction is because it's so fucking old at this point. It's like, oh, I really want to read Lupin the Third. Okay, you got to read something from like 40 years ago.
You don't know. It's episodic. You can just pick it up.
No. Well, but the point, people don't know that. How do they know that?
Well,
how
the
do
other thing
people
is,
know this?
when it came out, it aired on Toonami.
Yeah, sure, the anime.
It aired English on Toonami, so it's not. People have grown up.
I guess it's just shit.
I was going to argue for a minute that the ones that broke through, the ones that had the really big anime adaptations, and Golgo 13 didn't really have that. But then I'm looking at this, and it had a 50-episode anime adaptation in 2008. So like,
I guess it's just shit.
I guess it.
What the fuck is this show?
No,
that's not.
No, that's not Google.
No, look it up in your own time. But Golgo 13.
Yeah,
I think it's. Maybe it just doesn't work for the Western audience. Maybe the Western audience are looking for something familiar or very different. And maybe Golgo 13
it might literally just be something that is impossible to localize. If it came out in that time, it might be something that is just so Japanese that it wouldn't translate over here.
Yeah.
To general populace, obviously weeb shit like what we like, your Dororos and stuff, which is still full of Japaneseisms.
We like it. It's different enough that we can watch it and think to ourselves, this is a new culture I'm watching. Or if you watch something like One Piece, where it's like, this is different enough but very familiar.
It can be a lot of corporate culture as well. Like, fucking, here's the show. Okay, we want to adapt it. Okay, the author's demanding $20 million. Yeah,
it is the third highest selling art manga of all time. Not a chance.
Well, it could also be like what age range it's for, because for example, One Piece, like, kids watched it.
This is a seinen, so it's designed for teenagers and early adults.
I will say seinen. That's for young girls, isn't it?
No, seinen. You're thinking shoujo.
Yeah, shoujo. Yeah, sorry.
No, seinen is for older teenagers and young adults.
I will still always forever love 4Kids for the One Piece adaptation. That was beyond
Can we get the 4Kids JoJo adaptation?
No, that would be amazing.
I saw the full.
No, JoJo's on Tsunami.
There's a very good.
I'm not joking. It is on Tsunami.
But it's not 4Kids. There's a nice pretend 4Kids version of Kill la Kill out there, which is pretty funny.
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, go and watch it. It's pretty funny. Basically, they decided it's bullies.
Do they just put black bars all over the street?
It's bullies at schools. It's like Sally Phillips is new at the school, has got a big bully. That's and then whatever they decide to call the thing. This is not real, by the way. This is fake.
Yeah.
But like it's basically like if Kill la Kill was done by 4Kids.
Do they just? I still imagine they have to like shittily paint drawn on full uniforms when they do the transformation.
Potentially, everyone's holding rice balls and going, look at this donut.
Yeah. Jelly donuts.
That's your classic one. I appreciate the localization
Because you wouldn't know what rice balls were when you were a kid.
How the fuck would I know what? Like, I remember when I was young, I just thought, that's a Japanese donut. I guess they just make it for different pastry. That's what I thought when I was a kid. Like,
you see this rice ball? Now it's a burger, and now it's a cheeseburger. You see, the added dairy products what makes something truly American.
Did you actually make it a cheeseburger?
No.
That was a Yu-Gi-Oh bridge.
That's a very Yu-Gi-Oh bridge.
Well,
it's. I think when I watched Pokio.
Pokio.
I don't know where I was going for that. I was going for Pokio and Yu-Gi-Oh, and it kind of Pokio. I was going for Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh because I watched both of them as a kid. I think when I watched Pokemon as a kid, I was just in it for watching the
fights.
Well, it was over the fights. It was like, now we're going to have a Rhyhorn race, and I'm like, this is cool. I like this.
Fucking Ponyta.
Now we're gonna have
Ponyta's not right.
Now we're gonna have a beauty contest where the main competition is Ash's mum and James.
The ultimate fight, the ultimate duo.
I love that. Was that the episode that didn't get aired?
Yes, that was the band episode.
That is such
Is that
a
the
good
one?
episode.
Is that the one? The
where James cross dresses?
Yeah,
where
James grows a fabulous pair of tits.
The other two little bands. There was the one.
Oh my lord!
I mean, there were two more little bands. There was the one which got banned because it was causing people to have seizures. Because that was one of the.
Oh yeah, no, I remember.
And there was another one that got banned because in the first couple of minutes, a guy just points a gun at Ash's head.
Can we rewind to that time in Yu-Gi-Oh where Seto Climber gets a gun pointed him, so he throws a Yu-Gi-Oh card to block the hammer of the gun so he doesn't get shot. Because Seto Climber is a stone-cold motherfucker.
Also, Seto Climber is the kind of man who will commit suicide if he's going to lose a card game.
He stands on the side.
He is a fourth-rate duelist with a third-rate deck.
I learned how to third-rate duelist
with a
fourth-rate.
I love Seto so much.
Isn't Yu-Gi-Oh also where the famous phrase comes from, which is, I have activated my trap card?
Yes, because it's you activate a trap card, and I will abandon God and throws away cards.
Probably the best two-panel one for that is, okay, Yugi, and if you lose, you're going to have to be my slave.
I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with this.
Underneath Yugimoto, the king of game.
Yeah.
The problem that Yu-Gi-Oh had.
To rewatch Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
I tried a couple of years ago.
What's season 0? What's season 0?
The
dark Yu-Gi-Oh.
And then watch GX, which is surprisingly okay.
There wasn't the Shadow Realm. People just died.
This is also a card game. Remember, it's the actual game is not Yu-Gi-Oh! It's Duel Monsters. Yu-Gi-Oh! just means king of games. The Pharaoh is just a gambling addict. That was it.
Genuinely,
disputes in ancient Egypt.
I really like GX, and I don't know why.
I like GX.
I don't know why I like
Is that
GX.
the one with fusion summons?
No.
It's where the elemental heroes were in GX.
GX is the one where they decided that Yu-Gi-Oh! And Duel Monsters was so big they're going to have Duelist Academy where you go to learn to fight
just
with
dueling.
You just learn dueling.
This is like
it's like in Pokemon.
It's like Pokemon universe where I feel sorry for the poor bastard who's not actually that into Pokemon battling. It's like, I want to be a doctor, please. Oh, you mean like a doctor of Pokemon? No, a doctor of people. What?
People are fine, don't worry about it. Don't miss the lines for that.
It's like, no, I really don't want to do
With
much Pokemon. Wait, why? Like...
Look at them, they're awesome. This one's tail's on fire. Why do you not care about? Look at it. Just start throwing people.
Have you ever heard of the Harkness test?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You're fucking the Plague of Grimes video.
I like the concept that there's fish in Pokemon that aren't Pokemon.
Have you seen the collection in Pokemon of just like the actual harrowed screams of Pokemon being forced to fight?
Like that sort of
And
thing.
it's just like horrifying. Like that thing is in genuine agony.
This sounds
right
like a
now.
pizza ad.
Have you seen there is a Pokemon video where
where
Charmander gets bitten and Charmander just sounds like it's in actual pain and it's like
It probably is.
No, that's in the actual show. They edited the scream, but it's in the actual show.
Because they're making animals fight each other.
It is literally dogfighting, and I don't quite know how we managed to get away with it, despite the fact that because it's like, oh no, it's fine because they're magical creatures. It's like, yeah, but they're literally flinging fire at each other. Like that's somehow worse.
Can you imagine being there, like, okay, Bellspray, you see that Magmar over there?
Its body is made of lava. Now grab it with your vine hands.
Take you on, man.
Right,
How did we get back onto Pokemon?
I don't know, man.
I think we've ended up on Pokemon like 4 times.
My favourite one is always going up against a legendary Pokemon with like a starter. So it's like, so there's a picture I sent.
At least we're talking about an anime that exists.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it turns out an anime did exist,
Prove it.
We'll watch it together. 50 episodes. We're going to do a live stream.
Go. Prove to me it exists right now.
Right now.
We're going to watch it. We're going to watch it on a live stream.
That is the literal incarnation.
Right there.
That is the literal incarnation of Pokemon God. I'm a 1 foot tall mouse. I do not have this.
I love it where it's like Groudon, like literally Mega Evolves, not even Mega Evolves, like Primeval Evolves into...
He looks like a character.
I like to point out.
He looks like a character from Kaiji.
They're looking up Golgo 13.
No,
you complained that we were talking about an anime that didn't exist, and now you're back on it.
Look at this motherfucker.
Yeah, Golgo 13.
Visual format. Audio. Fuck, I fucked it. Kill me.
Alastair, put a picture of Golgo 13 up on the screen here, please.
Alexa, play Despacito.
Yeah, let's play Despacito.
My parents are too old-fashioned. They don't own an Alexa.
As we're in endless loop, let's go back to bad CG.
Oh god.
Fate Grand Order's Tiamat. It was fine.
Yeah. Fate Grand Order is chugging itself towards an ending and decided to do a CG animal for its final big boss. It looks okay.
Wait,
at the same
time, talking about the Grand Order anime.
It's
still going. This is actual anime.
Yeah. I thought it looked fine. I
fine.
think the problem is when it was rising from the ocean and it looked CG, I was like,
Well, once it's in full view, it was fine, as you know, giant things. I wish they'd done it drawing like an actual drawing like they did the original Colossal Titan. It's the same problem for me. Like,
Colossal Titan in season 2, 3, and 4. It just doesn't look good as the issue. That's like my one issue with season 2.5, 3.5. 3.5 Attack on Titan. It's just like, that Colossal Titan just looked bad.
It looks bad.
Well, this is the thing. Like, I don't quite understand why. I know it's money. I do know it's money. Before anyone shouts me down for this, but I don't get it. Where when you hit. I think it's like episode 18 of Fate Grand Order. At this point, they haven't done CGI pretty much at all. And then suddenly,
wasn't Gorgon CGI?
I don't think she was. I think she was like partly
Parts of her were CGI.
Good enough that I never really noticed. Whereas Tiamat is very obviously CGI. The fact is, I don't quite understand why 18 episodes in, suddenly here's the giant CGI monster. We could have made it 2D because the rest of the show's 2D, but sod it.
What the fuck is the point or plot in the Grand Order anime?
Don't. Just collecting holy grails. Don't. Because we will talk about it, and I don't want to subject you and Lewis to this.
The thing is, I feel like it will just throw out any good lore that was set up by the initial games of by Zero.
You can't compare it to. It's the same as like the Prison Release. It's separate. It's separate fucking universes. But don't even try. The Fate Grand Order anime was made for fans of Fate Grand Order. Exactly. Nothing else.
Right. But basic premise.
I'm following.
Basic premise. Holy grails got thrown out. Go and collect them. That's it. Just go with that. Yeah.
Sure. And everyone else is dead.
Oh, everyone.
Speaking of Pokemon, go get the magic badges by throwing your servants at each other and making them duel.
You're right, it is Prismarillia.
Yeah, absolutely. They're making.
You're right, it is Rainbow.
I would like to point out they're making a 5th season of Prismarillia.
Why?
Because men in Japan like masturbating over the thought of little girls.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I can happily say that is the one Fate show I have not watched at all. Except for that you made something which was the first episode and said, no.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie's still good.
The movie's good. I did finally watch the movie.
And in a twist of irony, like the rest of Fate Prismarillia, the movie has to be taken completely separately from Fate Prismarillia
to be good.
It is the fact that every single Fate anime has to be taken completely separately to every other Fate anime because they're all separate with the exception of Zero. With the exception of Zero and any of the original.
Prismarillia genuinely make every now and then it's like, man, I like watching Devilman because it makes me remember why anime is worth something.
Is that the complete opposite?
Every now and then when something like Prismarillia comes along, it makes me remember why anime is such a fucking horrible medium.
Prismarillia makes me upset that I like Fate.
Yeah,
you're right. No, I agree.
It's disgusting.
I will say I can't wait for the actual anime rendition of Fate Hollow Atraxia, and when they do get the guy from Groundhog Day to play Shiro.
Are they actually going to?
No, I'm taking the piss.
No, I didn't. I knew you were with the thing, but whether they were doing an anime edition.
No. But that is a genuine question. Do you think they'll ever do it? Because
no.
I think they probably will, but I think
there's a lot of money to milk.
I'm going to place down a bet here, like a prediction. I think what's going to happen is we're going to get the final of the 3 Heavensfield movies. Ufotable going to go off and do whatever it wants to do, and in 5 years' time, we're going to get either an announcement or a release of Hollow Atraxia by Ufotable.
You don't think
they change it. They wouldn't do the actual Hollow Atraxia stuff. They do just the actual storyline just the storyline of Bazette, the woman with Andromanyu and Avenger. Yeah. They just do her trying. She'd get the resets, not Shiro. Yeah. And they would just be that version.
Because otherwise it'd be too confusing. But the twist doesn't work.
Yeah. I still think that we're going to get a Ufotable version of that in about 5 years.
Are you sure they'd do that over remaking the initial?
Yeah, I think they'll remake the Fate route before they do that.
Do you really think they will? Because the favourite already exists.
So does Unlimited Blade Works.
Yeah, but that was a movie made by them, and they were like,
it was made by Dean.
Was it? Oh yeah, well,
the same as the Fate route.
I think the problem is, but that was a movie, whereas the original Dean Stay Night is an entire anime.
So what you mean is they're going straight into making a Heaven's Feel anime, since we've just had movies. It doesn't have an anime yet.
Look, I'm feeling really attacked right now. I feel like I've put down a
genuine offer. You dived on it.
You're dabbing. You spat in my eye.
I'm sorry.
Just be less wrong. Like, it's very straightforward.
Be less wrong about your prediction for 5 years in the future we don't even know exists yet.
Well,
yes.
You could be right. It also could be interesting. It could be bad. It could be good. They could also decide to make a fucking Winnie the Pooh anime in 5 years' time.
I'd watch the shit out of that.
That'd be great if you photable fucking graphics.
Oh yeah,
intense. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
I am bored with my sword. That was an attempt at Winnie the Pooh.
I am bored with my sword.
The girls got out of control.
Oh bother.
I'm trying. Winnie the Pooh is Fate Winnie the Pooh. What would the fucking absurd title be? Like, I don't know, fucking like Fate the Pooh? Like,
it would be something like Fate,
Fate 1,000 Acres.
Fate 1,000 Acres.
Yeah, no, 1,000 Acre Wood.
Oh no, it'd be like Fate 1,000 Acre Wood, Christopher Robin rendition, Dream Extra Accelerate, or something like that.
Then that'd be if it was a game.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
No, they're making this to accompany the mobile game, which is coming out at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Of course, they'd still have to do the Kingdom Hearts crossover version.
If you wanted to, it's up to you. Given the Kingdom Hearts is awful now, so
you think that Winnie the Pooh?
Oh, you really just shat Joe's entire soul with that concept.
The DLC. They Mass Effected us. It was a true ending DLC. Same as the actual game. Gameplay was fine. It was pretty much a boss gauntlet of a lot of my favourite characters because there's the organisation. They are just the best characters. It literally is just the final segment. You replay it again, but slightly different. You get to play as new characters. 25 quid.
Oh,
25 quid.
25 quid to get the ending that the game should have had in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I got it for free.
At least Mass Effect 3 it was released for free.
Yeah.
It's almost as if they realised that Kingdom Hearts fans are literally gagging for it.
But it was just, the thing is, the worst part is it was literally, the entire thing was a rehash of old ideas. These were characters that you got to play as at different parts of the game, so they just copy-pasted over that stuff. The final extra sequence at the end is literally copy-pasted from Kingdom Hearts 2. It's the data organization battles. You just get the same round room where you just fight all 13 of them as super bosses to unlock an extra super boss to kick your ass, and they've already hinted at another game for it.
Director's Son.
As in like another DLC, or as in Kingdom Hearts 4?
No, it's going to be the next.
25 quid. That's a game.
It's an entire game.
Director's Son. Do you remember when we made Final Fantasy 15 that sucked dick? Yeah, and so we released a proper ending and everyone bought it. Yeah, do it again.
Do you know how?
We don't have a spine or care about our creative medium. Let's just make money.
Are we jumping back into literally the first thing we talked about don't care about artistic? People don't care about artistic merit; they only care about money.
Quite a few directors.
Fantastic. And on that note,
yeah, if you want,
I think.
Oh,
it is 10. It's 10-3.
Okay.
Oh no, you gave away the
fuck! No!
Alastair, cut that part.
That's too much information!
This is when I don't know how many of these are sarcasm and how many of these
Everyone except this one.
Alastair, cut that point. They don't need to know that we experience time linearly.
Yeah,
they need to think we live in a void.
Yeah,
we found a way to come together in an echo void.
The title of this podcast is Alastair Cut That One.
Alastair.
I thought it was going to be a BuzzFeed title.
Yeah, Hugh's BuzzFeed title. Honestly, I'll just cut the whole thing.
It's bin it. Garbage.
Just like everything we produce.
Bye bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Mummy and Daddy need to go and have a drink.
Bye.